Okay, so today we're doing something a little bit different.
Yeah, a little different.
Instead of like focusing on one specific
Right.
study
Right.
or event or whatever, we're going to kind of look at the story of Richard Ramirez,
The Night Stalker.
the Night Stalker,
Yeah.
through like a bunch of different viewpoints.
Exactly. And I think that what makes this so fascinating is that the viewpoints are so different.
Yeah.
We've got a Reddit AMA from someone who corresponded with Richard Ramirez, like an actual pen pal.
What?
Yeah, and we have insights from Shoko Hara, who is a documentary filmmaker,
Okay.
and she did a film about the women who contacted Richard Ramirez.
Wow.
So very, very different perspectives.
Yeah, totally different angles.
And we've also got some more like factual stuff too, right?
Right, so we've got his Wikipedia page
Of course, gotta have that.
to ground us.
Yeah.
And then there's this really interesting Reddit thread from people in El Paso where he was from.
Oh, cool, like a local's perspective.
Yeah. And then even a YouTube transcript of an interview with like the lead investigator on the case.
Oh, wow, so we've got like the professional side too.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
So, I mean, you put all that together and it's like, we're really going to get a 360-degree view.
Totally, a full picture of this guy.
Of this guy and like the ripple effect
Yeah.
of, what he did.
Exactly, because I mean, obviously his crimes were horrific, right?
Horrific.
And those are really well documented.
Right.
But I think what we want to do is kind of dig into some of the more surprising aspects,
Right.
Beyond just the sort of sensationalism that you usually see with a story like this.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that's going to be interesting is how like some of these sources kind of line up, but some of them like really diverge.
Yeah.
So, he goes on this crime spree.
Mid-'80s, right?
Yeah, the mid-'80s. And like California is gripped in fear.
Yeah, totally.
But then we look at like, his life in prison and it's like
Kind of
like totally mundane.
Yeah.
Like how do those two things coexist?
Right, and then you have this other element that we're going to explore about these women who are drawn to him.
I know, that is so strange to me.
It's bizarre. It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
And then also the impact on his hometown.
Right.
And the investigators who pursued him.
Yeah, so let's start with the pen pal perspective.
Okay. The Reddit AMA.
Yeah, so this person, Adolph Hepburn, they corresponded with Ramirez.
Yeah.
And they described it as being like writing to an old friend.
What?
I know, it's so weird to think about.
So strange.
Like, this is the Night Stalker we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they knew going in, who he was and everything.
Yeah.
But the fact that it became so mundane
Yeah.
is really bizarre.
Right, they said they were initially interested, like, because of the crimes.
Sure.
But then it like turned into talking about music.
Yeah, like normal stuff.
Yeah, and movies and comic books.
It's like, are we talking about the same person? It really makes you wonder, like, is this guy just putting on an act?
Right, like, is this all fake?
Yeah, is he manipulating this person, or is there actually this side to him that's capable of having these normal conversations?
And they described him as just like a man in his 50s in confinement.
Okay.
Like, not menacing or intimidating.
So not like the starry figure you'd imagine.
Not at all.
Huh.
And they said he would spend like 23 hours a day in his cell.
Oh, wow.
Just reading, writing, listen to the radio.
Okay, so really isolated.
Yeah, so isolated.
Yeah.
And they even said that, he had a lot of appeals left.
Right.
So it was more likely that he would die of natural causes than be executed.
Interesting. And I bet people had some thoughts on that.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
People were not happy about that.
I can imagine.
Yeah, like the idea of him getting letters and stuff.
Right, giving him some kind of comfort.
Yeah, like he doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, I mean, especially for people who were personally affected by his crimes.
Right.
That must have been really hard to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one commenter, Caliber11, who said, someone was murdered in my hometown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. This guy doesn't deserve to be getting letters.
Yeah, I can see that perspective.
Totally.
It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah. And then someone else was worried that he would use the letters to, like, get access to the internet.
Oh, yeah, that's a valid concern.
Right? Like, what if he's using this person?
Right, to spread his message.
Right.
Or to contact other people.
Yeah, it's creepy.
It's a scary thought.
Yeah, and then someone brought up this psychologist who talks about how dangerous it is to give people like this an audience.
Oh, interesting.
Because it kind of feeds their desire to inflict pain.
Right, so even just writing letters could be harmful.
Yeah, but then, you have the other side of it where people are like, well, everyone deserves some compassion.
Okay, I see that point.
Right?
Everyone's human.
Yeah, and one person said, at least he's getting like one positive interaction.
Okay, so it's not completely bleak.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's complicated.
Very complicated.
Yeah.
So what about the pen pal themselves? Like, why were they doing this?
Well, they said it was kind of to alleviate boredom.
Oh, okay. So it's just a hobby.
Yeah, but a very unusual hobby.
Definitely.
Yeah, and someone else pointed out this really interesting thing.
What's that?
That sometimes the stamps on the envelopes were turned upside down.
Okay.
And they said that that could be like a coded message.
A secret message of affection?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's wild.
That is wild.
Yeah. And this person had also written to other serial killers,
What other ones?
like Philip Jablonski
Okay.
and Charles Manson.
Wow. So they have a type.
Yeah. They're really into true crime.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But they said that, they think Ramirez, if he was ever released, would probably still want to hurt people.
Okay, so they still recognize the danger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they even gave advice to people who want to become pen pals with inmates.
Really?
Yeah. They said, introduce yourself, tell them why you're writing,
Okay.
include interesting stuff like pictures and book pages.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so like engage them.
Yeah, and find some common ground.
Ah, that's really interesting.
It is. And this pen pal is a 26-year-old woman.
Okay.
And she uses her real address.
What, not a P.O. box?
Nope, her real address.
That's kind of scary.
I know, it's a little unnerving.
Yeah.
And she said that Ramirez always claimed he was innocent.
Oh, so he never talked about the murders?
No, he always said he was just a petty car thief.
Wow. So sticking to his story.
Yeah, but there was this one really creepy detail she mentioned.
What was that?
She said that he would talk about, like, driving around the city during his crime spree.
Okay.
As if it was just like a normal day.
Oh, wow. So casually.
Yeah, super casual.
That's disturbing.
It's very disturbing.
Yeah.
And she said, that there's no, like, sexual thing.
No.
She's not into him like that.
Got it.
And she said that she doesn't feel sympathy for Jablonski or Manson.
Okay.
But she does feel differently about Ramirez.
Oh.
Like she feels sorrow for him.
That's so interesting.
I know, but she also said she feels really bad for the victims.
Of course. Yeah.
And she said she knows that, like, her pictures are probably circulating among other inmates.
Oh, gosh. Yeah. You don't really think about that.
No, you don't.
Okay. So that's the pen pal's perspective.
Yeah. What a wild story.
It's really something.
So now let's talk about the filmmaker.
Okay. Shokahara.
Yeah, so her documentary is called Just a Guy.
I like that title.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And it focuses on the women who contacted Richard Ramirez romantically.
What? So not about his crimes?
Not really, no.
That's a very different approach.
It is. And she also corresponded with Ramirez.
Oh, wow. So she's got that personal connection too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And she said she wanted to avoid sensationalizing or demonizing anyone.
Okay.
Like, she just wants to understand why these women did this.
Without judging them.
Yeah, which is tough.
It is, yeah.
And her film includes interviews with women like Eva O.
Who was his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Right.
And even her own letter to Ramirez.
Wow. Okay, so she's really putting herself out there.
Yeah, she is.
Interesting.
And she said that, she didn't know a whole lot about Ramirez at first.
Okay.
Like, she just knew what he looked like and, like, the basic Wikipedia stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she wasn't attracted to him at first.
Well, yeah, I mean, she was pretty young when all this was happening.
Yeah, she was like 21.
Yeah. And he was in his 50s.
Yeah, so not really her type.
Yeah.
But then, she did a ton of research.
Oh, yeah, to make the film.
Yeah, she watched documentaries, read about him, even looked at Eva O's original letters.
Wow, so she really went deep.
She did. And she said that her view of him changed a lot.
How so?
Well, she said that he was less like the dangerous Satanist, that the media portrays.
Okay.
And more like a wannabe rock star.
A wannabe rock star.
Yeah. And that he wasn't very smart or well-educated.
Interesting.
And that ultimately he was just like a poor, lonely guy with almost normal feelings.
Wow.
Who could cry, but showed no remorse for his crimes.
So a really complex figure.
Yeah, very complex. And she said that's what she's trying to show in her film.
I see. So all those different sides of him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she said she included her own letter in the film to kind of show that there are different reasons why people might contact him.
Okay, so not everyone's like Eva O.
Right.
Who was in love with him.
Yeah.
Right.
She said that Eva was motivated by love.
Okay.
Another woman was in it for sexual benefit.
Wow.
And she was just curious.
Just curious.
Yeah, no, it's interesting.
It is.
And there was this crazy thing where she had a lock of his hair.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, from San Quentin.
Oh, my God.
I know, but it wasn't in the final film.
Okay.
And she said that making the film was really intense.
I bet.
It was low budget.
Okay.
And she said her team was super dedicated to the project.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, they even listened to true crime podcasts while they were working on it.
Really? To get in the mood?
Yeah, to get in the right headspace.
Wow.
I know. And the film has been well received at festivals.
That's cool. So people are interested in this.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah.
But she's not sure what she's going to do next.
Oh, yeah.
She said this one was so intense.
I bet.
And, she needs to make money.
Yeah, filmmaking isn't always glamorous.
No, it's not.
So we've heard from the pen pal and the filmmaker.
Yeah.
And I think now would be a good time to get into some hard facts.
Okay, let's go to the Wikipedia page.
All right, so Richard Ramirez, born Ricardo Leyva Munoz Ramirez.
Sketchy.
February 29th, 1960, died June 7th, 2013.
Okay.
Known as the Night Stalker, the Walking Killer, and the Valley Intruder.
Yeah, all very creepy nicknames.
Yeah.
So he was a serial killer and sex offender.
Right, active in greater Los Angeles and San Francisco Bay Area.
From April 1984 to August 1985.
1 year.
Yeah.
A lot of damage in 1 year.
Yeah, a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So he was convicted of 13 counts of first-degree murder.
Wow. 13.
1 count of second-degree murder. 11 counts of rape.
Oh, my God.
And 14 counts of first-degree burglary.
That is a lot.
It is.
And he was sentenced to death in 1989.
Wow.
And it's interesting because even though he's called the Night Stalker, a lot of his crimes actually happen in the afternoon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So not just at night.
So the name's not totally accurate?
No, not really.
Interesting. And he used a bunch of different weapons.
Like what?
Like handguns, knives, a machete, a tire iron, a claw hammer.
Oh my gosh. So brutal.
Yeah, and his methods were like stabbing, bludgeoning, shooting, strangulation.
And he would torture his victims too?
Yeah, sometimes with an electrical cord.
That's awful.
And he would degrade and humiliate them.
So just awful, awful stuff.
Yeah, it's terrible. And the first murder that they know for sure he did was in April 1984.
Okay.
It was Peter Pan's granddaughter.
Oh, wow.
But they didn't link it to him until 2009 with DNA evidence.
Oh, wow. So a long time later.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they actually found DNA from a second suspect at the scene, too.
What? Really?
Yeah. So it's possible he wasn't working alone.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And then Wikipedia goes on to list a bunch of other murders and attacks.
Okay.
Like really gruesome details.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I don't want to get into all of that.
Yeah, I don't think we need to.
But it just shows how much damage he did.
Yeah, in such a short amount of time.
Yeah. And there are some murders that they suspect he did.
Okay.
But they don't have enough evidence.
Got it.
And he actually told a prison officer that he killed more than 20 people.
Oh, wow. So even more than they know about.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how did they finally catch him?
Right. So it was actually a fingerprint.
A fingerprint.
Yeah, they got it off a stolen Toyota.
Okay.
And they were able to identify him because of this new automated system they had.
Oh, wow. So lucky timing.
Totally. It was like a near miracle, they said.
Wow. And then they also found a footprint at a crime scene.
Okay.
That matched his shoe.
Okay, so they had the fingerprint and the footprint.
Yeah, and they put his mugshot out there, and some people in East L.A. recognized him.
Oh.
And they actually caught him.
What, they like held him down?
Yeah, they held him down until the police got there.
That's crazy.
I know, it's wild.
Talk about taking the law into your own hands.
Right.
Wow.
So then the trial was really long.
Okay.
And there were some crazy things that happened.
Like what?
Like one of the jurors was murdered.
What?
Yeah, by her boyfriend.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's nuts.
So not even related to Ramirez?
No, not at all.
Wow.
But eventually, he was convicted.
Sentenced to death?
Yeah, and then years later, he got married.
While he was on death row?
Yeah, to a woman named Doreen Leoy.
Okay.
But they separated later.
So not exactly a fairy tale ending.
It is not at all.
Yeah.
And then he died in 2013 from complications from B-cell lymphoma.
Okay.
And it's just so weird to me that he described himself as just a guy.
Oh, yeah, and that's the title of the documentary.
I know, right?
So strange.
It's like he had no concept of like the monster that he was.
Yeah, like the impact that he had.
Right.
Yeah, that's chilling.
It's very chilling.
So I think now's a good time to switch gears a bit.
Okay.
And get the perspective from his hometown.
Okay, let's go to the El Paso Reddit thread.
Okay, so these are people who like actually knew him or knew his family.
Yeah, or their families knew him or whatever.
Right, so this is firsthand stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of them said that he was like a loner in high school with a really creepy vibe.
Not surprising.
Right, and that he drew disturbing pictures.
Oh, yeah, like a sign of things to come.
Yeah, and one person said that their dad knew Ramirez's dad.
Okay.
But they didn't hang out much because their brother was in a gang.
Oh, so like there were some family ties to that world.
Yeah, and there are all these rumors going around too.
Oh, like what?
Like that he sent the eyes of his victims to his sister.
What?
Yeah, I know, it's messed up.
That's so creepy.
Right, and that he sent his family jewelry that he took from his victims.
Oh my gosh.
I know, but they're just rumors.
Right.
We don't know if they're true.
Still disturbing, though.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And they talked about this cemetery where he used to sleep.
Oh, yeah, Concordia Cemetery.
Or Evergreen. Some people said Evergreen.
Oh, okay.
But Concordia is supposed to be super creepy.
Really?
Yeah, some people think it's haunted.
Uh-huh.
And that it was like a Native American burial ground before.
So he was drawn to these dark places.
Yeah, even as a kid.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And someone else said that even the burnouts in school avoided him.
Really? So even the kids who were like on the fringes
Yeah.
thought he was weird.
Yeah. Too weird for them.
That's saying something.
Yeah. And then they talked about all these possible reasons why he turned out the way he did.
Okay. Like what?
Well, they talked about birth defects in his siblings.
Okay.
And they thought maybe it was because of nuclear testing in New Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, or because his mom worked in a boot factory and was exposed to chemicals.
Interesting. But I mean, do we know if any of that is true?
No, not really. And some people said that, his siblings were fine.
Okay.
So maybe it's not true.
Right.
And they talk about him maybe having a brain injury as a kid.
Okay.
Which could have led to sociopathy.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Right. And then there was this rumor that an uncle or a cousin killed someone in front of him when he was a teenager.
Oh, wow. So like he witnessed this horrible violence.
Yeah, and they thought that maybe that was like a turning point for him.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right. And then there was this story about him sexually assaulting a cleaning lady at a Motel 6.
What?
Yeah, and that's why he left El Paso.
Oh, wow. So he was already getting into trouble.
Yeah, but again, it's just a story. We don't know if it's true.
Right.
And they talked about this ring he wore.
Okay.
A silver Black Widow spider ring.
Oh, that's creepy.
I know he got it in Juarez.
Okay, across the border.
Yeah. And they even figured out where his childhood home was.
Really?
Yeah, on Lido Street.
Okay.
It's a park now. Yeah, Saipan Lido Park. Yeah. And a lot of people talked about this cousin of his.
Okay.
Who was like really messed up.
Like how?
Well, some people said he was a Vietnam vet.
Okay.
And that he showed Ramirez all these disturbing pictures.
Oh, wow. So like war photos and stuff.
Yeah, and they thought that maybe that had a big influence on him.
Yeah, that could mess you up.
Right, but some people said it wasn't true.
Okay, so again, we don't know for sure.
Right, and then this one person said that they had a detective as a substitute teacher once.
Okay.
And he talked about the Night Stalker case.
Really?
Yeah, and he showed them a creepy drawing.
Wow. So this case is really stuck with people.
Yeah, it's like a local legend.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's El Paso.
Okay, so we've heard from people who knew him personally.
Yeah?
Now I think it's time to hear from the guy who caught him.
Okay, let's go to the YouTube transcript.
Okay, so this is Gil Carrillo.
The lead investigator.
Yeah.
So he talked about how intense the investigation was.
I bet.
Yeah, and how all the different police departments had to work together.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and he talked about how they finally identified Ramirez.
Use the fingerprint.
Yeah, and they had this informant who helped them too.
Oh, wow. So like an inside man?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he described how Ramirez was captured.
By those people in East LA?
Yeah. He said it was like something out of a movie.
I bet it was crazy.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
And he talked about how the case affected the community.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been terrifying.
Yeah, everyone was scared to go out at night.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and he said that his own family was scared too.
Oh, wow. So it really hit close to home for him.
Yeah, and he said that the Avia's shoe print was really important.
Oh, right, because it linked all the crimes together.
Yeah, so they knew they were looking for one guy.
Okay.
And he talked about Ramirez's behavior in court.
Oh, yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, he was always looking for attractive women.
Really?
Yeah, and he would stare at them and wink at them.
Oh, my gosh. So creepy.
I know, and he always wore sunglasses.
Even inside?
Yeah, even inside.
Yeah. What was that about?
I don't know. Maybe thought it made him look cool.
I guess.
Yeah. And there was this woman who worked at a psychiatric ward.
Okay.
And she said that Ramirez had assaulted her.
Oh, wow. So he was still being predatory even in custody?
Yeah.
Wow.
And Carrillo said that he would talk to Ramirez in custody.
Okay.
And he would call him Rich.
Really?
Yeah, like they were buddies.
That's strange.
So weird.
Yeah.
And he said that Ramirez was actually really smart.
Really?
Yeah, smarter than any other murder suspect he'd ever interviewed.
Wow, so he was playing dumb.
Yeah, I guess so.
Interesting.
And after Ramirez got the death sentence in L.A.,
Okay.
the authorities in San Francisco wanted to prosecute him for the crimes he committed there.
Right.
But Carrillo said no.
Why?
He said he didn't want to put the surviving victims through another trial.
Oh, wow. So he was thinking about them.
Yeah, he was trying to protect them.
That's really compassionate.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And he said that there were times when Ramirez seemed remorseful.
Really? Give me an example.
Well, he apologized to one of his survivors, Whitney Bennett.
Oh, wow.
And one time when he was kidnapping this kid, he saw a puppy.
Okay.
And he said he was worried about the puppy.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. It's like, how can you be so cruel?
And yet have these moments of, like, almost caring.
I know. It's bizarre.
It really is.
And Carrillo said that the case took a toll on him.
I bet. Yeah.
It was really hard.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of support from his family and colleagues.
Good. It's important to have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he confirmed that the people who caught Ramirez didn't know who he was at first.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They just saw him acting suspicious.
Wow.
And they found his kill kit in a locker at the Greyhound bus station.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And he said there were 8 other cases where they thought Ramirez was the guy.
Okay.
But they didn't have enough evidence.
Wow. So there could be even more victims.
Yeah. It's scary to think about.
Yeah, it is.
And he said that Ramirez targeted a lot of Asian people.
Really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Ramirez refused to have a psychological evaluation.
Why?
Because he wanted people to think he was sane.
Oh, so he could be held responsible for his actions.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow.
And get this, Ted Bundy and Richard Ramirez wrote letters to each other.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
2 serial killers just pen pals?
I know, it's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah. And Carrillo talked about how at Ramirez's arraignment, he yelled, "Hail Satan."
Oh, yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah, and there were pentagrams and stuff at some of the crime scenes.
Right, so that satanic element was definitely there.
Yeah. And he talked about the families of the kids who were abducted.
Okay.
And how they were relieved when those cases weren't pursued.
Because they were focused on the murders.
Yeah.
Right.
And he said that years later he ran into the mother of one of the kids who survived.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was really emotional.
I bet.
Yeah, and he said that he talked to Ramirez's mother and sister.
Okay.
But he wasn't trying to interrogate them or anything.
Just offering support.
Yeah. And he said Ramirez was worried about his family in El Paso.
Because they were being harassed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Carrillo said that during the crime spree, there was an attempted break-in near his own house.
Oh, wow. So he was really close to it.
Well, way too close.
That's scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
So we've gone through a lot of information.
We have.
From a lot of different sources.
Yeah. What do you think are the biggest takeaways?
I think it's that juxtaposition you were talking about earlier.
Right.
Like, you have these horrible crimes.
Right.
And then you have these seemingly normal moments.
Yeah.
Like him listening to the radio in his cell or writing letters about comic books.
Yeah, it's like, how can someone be both of those things?
Right. And then you have these women who are drawn to him.
I know. That's still so bizarre to me.
Yeah, it's really hard to understand.
Yeah.
And then the impact he had on everyone.
Yeah, on his community, on the investigators.
It's like a ripple effect.
It is.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about human nature.
It really does. Like, how can people be so different?
Yeah. And how can we even begin to understand someone like Richard Ramirez?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I guess that's our deep dive into Richard Ramirez.
I feel like we just scratched the surface.
I know, me too. There's so much more to explore.
But hopefully this gave our listeners something to think about.
Yeah. And maybe they can do their own deep dive.
Yeah. Check out the sources we talked about.
Exactly.
And see what they think.
Yeah. And thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.
See ya.